that the church is a specific group of people. Those specific people have been called by God. That group of people is united by a specific truth. And that group of people is subject to one another as a whole. The church is called by God. He is the one that has made us the church. And we are united by a specific truth. Jesus is the King. He is the Christ. Anyone who preaches differently or explains him differently is not the church. We are bound by that. We are united by that truth. And we are subject to one another as a whole. As the church body calls out sin in our lives, we are subject to it. As the church body affirms us, we are subject to it. When we serve the church, it means we serve those who hold authority to speak into our lives. So given this definition, we must know each other. We must trust each other. We must be involved with one another, and we have to practice that. If the church can analyze and speak authoritatively into what I believe, church needs to know what I believe. If I, as a church member, can speak into what you believe, I need to know what you believe. If we can exercise authority, if we can exercise calling of repentance, if we can talk to each other and say, hey, if you want to be part of us, your life needs to reflect the truth of Jesus. If we have that authority to speak into each other's lives, we need to know each other's lives. How do we know if there's sin or not if we don't know anything about each other? How do we understand what God's doing in our lives if we never talk about what God's doing in our lives? The truth that unites us and the authority that we serve and give to one another is only practical if we know each other. And so some people look at the church and they say the church just means universal. It means all believers everywhere. That's what Jesus means. He's just talking about all believers everywhere. And so there's this universal church. And within that universality, it doesn't really matter which particular group of people I go and hang out with. I can hang out with this group of people this Sunday and that group of people that Sunday, and I can do this one on Sunday and that one on Wednesday and another one on Thursday, and it doesn't really matter because we're all the church. Now, while God's family does exist over all countries, over all times, all of world history, everyone that believes in Jesus is the church. That is true. In order for us to watch each other's doctrines and beliefs, in order for us to speak truth into places where there's sin and there's stubbornness and the lives we live and the ups and downs we have, the only way we can speak into that and have authority over it, the only way we can keep each other doctrinally, theologically, confession-wise on the right track, the only way to do that is to commit to a group of people that we will live our lives with. That's it. If we change groups of churches, change groups of called out ones, and just fellowship with them all and go back and forth all over, I'll speak for myself. I would hide the things I don't want them to see. I would not let them really get to know the deeper parts of me, because if I jump around, our relationship is superficial enough, I never have to let you see it. I could hide the things that I know aren't so shiny if I'm with you from time to time. I can play the game and say the words and look really good if I never let you really get to know me. That's what we can do as people. I'm betting I'm not the only one that's like that.